All right, I'm back here at High Proof Whiskey and Spirits. The last time I was here was in August of 2024, so it's been about 9 months since I was here. And so let's see what has changed. Did the prices go up? Did the prices go down? Did they get any new inventory? And always, you can check out their latest prices and inventory on their website at highproof.com. So I'm gonna go scanning their shelves, and then I'm gonna highlight some of the things that stood out for me. But if I skip something that interests you, again, check out their website. And also, if you see this video and decide to go to High Proof, let them know Whiskey Bank sent you. It really does make me feel good if I go in and they're like, hey, a couple of people saw your videos and decided to stop by, because it feels like I am helping people find some great stores and some great whiskey. So please, if you could do that, that would be greatly appreciated. Let's get started. So first, we'll look at the glass case in the front. As you can see on the left, you're going to see the Pinnock series. Now, this is pretty cool because they got the Pinnock, the vertical, aged 9 years for $78. Now, usually these go for about $90 to $100, so that's a really good price. The only place I saw it for cheaper is going to be at Bourbon Outfitters at $70. And on the right side, you see that Heaven Hill grain to glass. That is $85. Now, I really like the rye. The bourbon, I didn't care for so much, and the wheated was pretty good. They don't have that here right now, but $85 if you wanted to try these is a fantastic price. The Total Wine, about 5 miles away, has it for $110. That is a little bit expensive. And as we go to the shelf below it, on the left, you're going to see the Joseph Magnus series. If you see the triple cask, that's $65. And then the Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend for $180, and the Murray Hill Club for $80. I mean, that is some fantastic pricing. Total Wine has the triple cask for $80, I believe, and then the Joseph Magnus Cigar Blend for $195. So again, you're saving $15 a piece, which is a good chunk of change. And then on the right, you're gonna see the Larceny Barrel Proofs and the Knob Creek 18. The Larceny Barrel Proofs at $55. That is, again, a fantastic price. The Total Wine, I believe, has it for $63, $65. And then the Knob Creek 18 for $160 is probably gonna be one of the best prices you're gonna find. And then if you go a little bit below that, you see on the left, you see the Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs. They have it for $60 and $65 depending on the batch. I believe they're actually sold out of the A125 currently. I believe they are, but that's a great price. Again, Total Wine relatively has it for $75, which is a big change. And then on the right, you're gonna see a little bit of George Remus, the Babe Ruth, the Remus Repeal 8, the Yellowstone Special, and the Eagle Rare. And if you go one below that, you're gonna see some Peerless on the left. I believe that's a double rye and a rum finished. And on the right, you're gonna see the Midwinter Nice Dram and the Maker's Mark, the Heart Series 2024. All right, and then you go to the next column, you're gonna see a little bit more of their single barrels. You can see the Booker's on the left, but the Pinnock single barrel, the Smoke Wagon Private Select, the Subtle Spirits, the Nashville Store Pick, and the Jack Daniels. In between, you're gonna see a Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. But out of all the store picks you see right there, I would recommend the Subtle Spirits Bourbon. Comes in $110. Now, it's only about 8 years old, but it is a Heaven Hill barrel, and it is just sweet nectar. I absolutely enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much after tasting it, I bought it right away. And so that's the one I would recommend the most. If you go to this, the row on the bottom or right below it, you're going to see some Wyoming whiskey, some Whistle Pig, all that good stuff. On the right, you're going to see their Maker's Mark pick, and then the new Knob Creek Cash Drink Store Picks. I believe the bourbon is $65 and the rye is $60. I really want to get the bourbon. I believe it's a little over 126 proof, so it is a little bit higher than what their store picks used to be at 120, but without any water, without any of that dilution, I do want to see how good it tastes. And then if you go to the roll right below that, you're going to see a little bit more of their store picks. They got the Elijah Craig, the rye or the RY3, the Del Box, all that good stuff. But the highlight for me is going to be the Wild Turkey Private Select Single Barrel Rye. It does come in at $80 for 101 proof, so it is a little steep, but it is a fantastic barrel, and I enjoyed every drop of it. I did a review, and you know what? I love wild turkey rye, especially a single barrel like that. And then if you go to the row below it, you're gonna see a little bit more Frank August, and then the film series that I'm not really familiar with. And then the row below that, you're gonna see some Widow Jane Decadence, the Vault, Old Man White, and Cream of Kentucky. Nothing to really see over here. We're gonna go to the regular shelves on the right, and then first we're gonna start off with some Frey Ranch. Look at that, they got all the Frey Ranch that you want. You got the uncut, the farmer strength, you got the store pick bourbon, the store pick rye. They also have the quad malt and all that good stuff. Now the pricing is pretty good. I mean, the single barrels for $75 is a really good price. That's probably the cheapest I've seen it anywhere. Same thing with the single barrel rye, $95. Now I would recommend the rye over the bourbon. The bourbon can have that craft funk, a little bit of that, I don't want to say youth, but it has like a single malt funk sometimes. But the rye, I really like the rye. And then if you go to the row below it, you're gonna see the Old Pepper Distillery, the James E. Pepper Decanter Series at $50. Barrel proof, good stuff at $50. Gotta get that. And then the row below it, you're gonna see the Hogwarts at $45. And then the Old Elk series. I'm not a big fan of the Old Elk, so you know what? You guys can see that. And of course, right below it, you're gonna see the 1792 single barrel, bottom bond. They also have the full proof. And then the column next to that has the Smoke Wagons. I really think Smoke Wagon needs to do like a revision or rebranding or something. I really like it, but a lot of their hype has been taken away because either they're limited edition, like the rare and limited is really hard to find, and people are just not excited about them anymore. And I'm kind of sad about that. So I really hope Smoke Wagon does something either different or something cool to kind of revive their brand. You see the regular Pinucks on the right, and below that you see all the Redwood Empire, all the way from the regular stuff to the cash ring stuff to their bottled and bond stuff to their 100% full Van Dusen and Screaming Titan and all that other good things. I just think Redwood Empire is delicious. I just wish they were about $10, $15 cheaper on every one of their offerings. I'll love to try their Van Dusen and their Screaming Titan and their Devil's Tower, but at $80, $90, really hard to kind of pull the trigger on that one. And then the row below it, you'll see the Knob Creek series and the Bardstown on the right. Now the highlight here is going to be that Knob Creek 12 for $50. That is the best price you'll see anywhere. I believe the Total Wine next to it has it for $65, so that is a big savings. And then on the row below that is the regular Woodford, and then the Woodford Double Oak at $39, which is, I believe, Costco pricing. And then on to the next column. It starts with some High West Cask Collection, the Basil Hayden series, great build, not great taste. Row below that, you're gonna see all the barrels. Now the highlight of here is the foundation. They have the regular foundation at $44 and the double barrel for $50, which it's sold out in a lot of places. Seagrass for $70, the barrel 36 batch for $75. It's a really good price, and they still have the barrel rye cask strength, I believe batch number 4 for $75. Though that got a lot of great reviews, so maybe that's something I need to pick up because I haven't picked that up. And then row below that, you'll have more Bardstown and then the Four Roses. They do have the new single barrels, the OBSF and OESK. I believe those are $44 each here. And then if you go to the row below that, you're going to get all the regular Jim Beam items. And then now on to the next column, you'll see more Basil Hayden. You got a big Basil Hayden right there. Whew, that's big. This Claremont Steep for $25. $25. I believe this came out at $60, and then now that no one likes it, no one's buying it at $25, which is kind of sad. On the right side, you're going to see all the regular Willet offerings. Yeah, let's skip over that. Let's go to the row below that, which is a little bit more exciting. You're going to see a little bit more barrels on the left. The Vantage for $70. The Cast Finishing Series, the PX Sherry for $75. And then the Russell's Reserve. Ooh, the single barrel for $50. That's a good price for that. And then the Rare Breed Rye for $55. And then, of course, if you move a little bit more down, you're going to see a little bit more Wilderness Trail. Now, Wilderness Trail is very average. No one hates them, but no one loves them. And I think that's the problem. They're kind of stuck in the middle. And so every time I try Wilderness Trail, I like them, but there's nothing special enough for me to ever grab a bottle. So that's kind of sad. I actually went to the distillery when I went to Kentucky a couple of months ago, and it was a great experience. But again, everything was good, but nothing great. And then, of course, the row below that is the Old Forester lineup. The 1897, the 1910, $50, $48. Good prices for these Old Foresters. And then on to the next column, you're going to see the Angel's Envy. No comment there. The Rye or the RY3, $75, $80 a piece, depending on which finish you want. I don't know much about them, so let's skip over them. The column or the row on the bottom, ooh, this is where it gets a little exciting, which is the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof and the rye. Now, last year they had it at $50, and you know what? They still have it for $50. That is crazy. That is crazy pricing. I believe Total Wine has it for like $65, $70 a piece. And then, of course, the Bonded, the Triple Mash, and the Bonded Rye is also at a good price as well. So if you want any Jack Daniel's products, come to High Proof, because I don't think many people could beat these prices. And then, of course, on the row on the bottom, you're going to see a lot more of the Whistle Pig. Yeah, I don't know much about. Actually, you know what? I like their 12 and the 10 and the 15. It's just overpriced, right? It's good whiskey, just overpriced whiskey. And then Hooten Young, sourced stuff. Some people like them, some people don't. I don't know too much about them. And then on the bottom row, you're going to see the Lux Row stuff, the Rebels, the Ezra Brooks, and some Yellowstones on the right. On to the next column. Oh, finally some exciting stuff. Some Sagamore spirits. I mean, the cash drink at $55, great deal. Double oak at $60, regular deal. And then their 9-year-old rye at $65, another great deal. So I like Sagamore's. I believe their 10-year-old is coming out this year, so I'm really excited for that. And on the row on the bottom, Penelope regular stuff. The barrel strength for $44 is a good price. The toasted, the wheated, all good. And then the New Rift, again, single barrels. Now, I believe as of today, they do have the New Rift 8-year 100 proof whiskey and the rye. And I believe they're $70 a piece, which is normal pricing here in California. So if you were always wanting to get those, they do have those in stock. The row below that is going to have some Fox and Odin. And of course, when anyone talks about Fox and Odin, it's going to be that double oak with that yellow label coming in at $81. A lot of people talk good stuff about that. I haven't really got it yet, but it looks like they have 5 bottles, and so maybe it's time for me to get one of those. And then if you go to the bottom on below that, you have Rod and Hammer and Bubba's. Yeah, no comment on those. And then on to the next column, which has the Green River stuff. Now, the full proof at $44, I heard is one of the best bargains in whiskey. Yeah, I should pick one up. I just have too many bottles. Just haven't been able to get around to it yet. They did have one bottle of the Augusta Buckner's 10-year at $140. They have one bottle left, so maybe it's really good. I should get it, but there's so much to get. And then, of course, the Widow Jane, the Baby Jane, 10-year, the Lucky 13. Pretty good pricing for that. If you go to the bottom or the row below that, on the left, you're going to see some Fourgates. Look at that. The Foundation, the 10-year Foundation, $190. That feels expensive, but that's probably the best price you'll see it for a Fourgate. And then the Calvin Collaboration 5, which a lot of people say is their favorite collaboration, coming in at $170. Now, I haven't seen a Fourgate release in, year and a half? 2 years? I wonder what happened to them. And then, of course, they sneak in the Pikesville on the left for $40. And then the few stuff, I haven't tried any. So let me know if they're good, or let me know if it's because they're bad that I haven't tried it. On the column, the row on the bottom, you're going to see the Rabbit Holes. Yeah. And then on the right, you're going to see the Westward Whiskey. Fortunately, they had to file for bankruptcy, but they're still in business. They're still making whiskey. They're just trying to not pay their debt until they can get some money. Good pricing on this. I mean, look at that Pinot Noir cast at $70. The cash strength at 80, and I believe the stout is also at $70, which is the best price you'll see in town. And then if you go to the row below that, this is where it gets a little bit more non-Kentucky. The Ben Holiday from Missouri, the Rick Proof, the Bottled and Bond, the Red Reed, all of that good stuff here. And then the Del Box. I haven't tried a single Del Box. If I should, because those look okay. And then below that is the regular stuff, the Old Grandad Barrell Port Barton, and the Old Potro from San Francisco. Next up, we're gonna see some ASW fiddlers. Now, ASW, just like I mentioned in my review video of their toasted, was the thing like 2-3 years ago. They were 13th century before 13th colony before 13th colony became how big they are right now. And yet they kind of disappeared. I mean, yes, they are coming out with whiskeys and there are still people buying them, but they definitely don't have the hype like they did when the Georgia Heartwood first came out. Look at the pricing. $70 for this Georgia Heartwood. I mean, I bought that for like $90 2 years ago. So that seems like that's a good deal. And the toasted at $68. Very good, very delicious, especially at cash strength. And then on the right, the highlight is going to be the 2XO Sneakerhead coming in at $70. $70. I mean, Total Wine has it for $95. So that is a really, really good price. A lot of places sell that for $100. So, and it's still not selling. There's a lot on the shelf. So I don't know what that says about 2XO. And then if you go to the shelf below that, you're going to see the Wyoming whiskeys, some High and Wicked, and of course on the right, you're going to see the Dark Art. You got 4 different finishes coming in around $85 to $75 a piece. A lot of people like the Dark Art, and a lot of people like their finishes. Their French oak, I believe, I like the best, and the Amurata is actually pretty good considering that it's Amurata. Do I like it? But do I think it's better than others? Yes. And then on the shelf below that, you're gonna see the Buzzard's Roost. Now, I did go to Buzzard's Roost when I went to Kentucky. Good place. Fun people, but for $75-$80 for their cash string stuff, I'll skip on it for now. And then RD1, just like ASW, when RD1 first came out, I believe like a year and a half ago, again, all the rage SMB, SLB drinks were like, this is the next big thing. And then, yeah, they were not the next big thing. They were just a one-hit wonder to a certain extent. So I kind of question what happened to them. And then the shelf below, you're going to see some Templeton and some Jeffersons. Yeah. I am going to conclude my video by showing you guys some single malts and some Scotch. They do have a great collection. I just don't know too much about them, nor the pricing. So I just want to show it to you guys while I talk over it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this gives you a good overview of what High Proof has and what kind of pricing they have. Again, if you do go there or shop online, just say, hey, Whiskey Pink sent me. And again, I don't know if that will help me, but again, it just makes me feel good, which is always good. So thank you so much, guys, for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.